Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Mayor and Council meeting of Monday, June the 15th, 2026. We're a few minutes past 6. A quorum is present. At this time, I would like to ask that Mr. Parker lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council members, you have before you an agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion.
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I don't believe we have any public commentary this evening. Seeing no one come forward that wishes to speak, we will move on to staff reports. Mr. Parker, do you?
The only report, we received a thank you letter to the mayor and council that I shared with you. It was asked to be read out publicly.
All right, this is from Mrs. Middleton following the dedication for former Mayor Jim Middleton, the ball fields at Heritage Park, and for anyone that had an opportunity to attend that. It was wonderful. Really appreciate Steve Roberts and his team and everything they did to make that happen, and Andrew, everything you and your folks did to make it happen. But most of all, thanks to the Middleton family. And Mrs. Middleton has kindly sent a card addressed to all of the city staff and the mayor and council, and I will read it at her request. Dated June the 12th, 2026. To the mayor and city council and staff, what a special afternoon June 5th was for me and our family as the fields at Heritage Park were dedicated to our Jim. It was such an honor for us all. I appreciate all that went into honoring Jim for any and all he did as mayor. Those times were very special to him. It blessed me just to know, gone but not forgotten. Thank you for everything to make that afternoon happen. Kind remarks and memory shared. He would say to each of us, keep the good things going. God bless Joanne Middleton. So we really appreciate Mrs. Middleton's kind card, and we're so thankful to the family for allowing us to honor Mayor Middleton. So it looks fantastic, the signage, and so I hope everyone will get out and enjoy it. I know that also it was appreciated that Mrs. Middleton mentioned Mayor Middleton used to talk about the temporary taxpayer and how very important the tourism and those of us that are here local enjoy. But we have folks that come from out of town and contribute to our economy, and how important things like our ball fields are to bringing that temporary taxpayer in. So it was greatly appreciated, and I think we all enjoyed the privilege of getting to honor Mayor Middleton. Also in staff reports, I'd like to mention that Councilmember Tyree Goodlett, let me pull this up here, has been selected to participate for the upcoming year to be sworn in at the Georgia Municipal Association meeting in Savannah in a few weeks. His term will begin July the 1st. Georgia Municipal Association and the University of Georgia's Carl Vinson Institute of Government has selected Tyree as one of 15 elected officials in our state in municipal positions to be the representative for District 1 for the Municipal Training Board. So this board, as I understand it, will look at evaluating all of the content that we go to these conferences, and we try to bring back best practices to our communities. And it's a huge honor, Tyree. So we're so excited for you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So yeah. If there are no other staff reports, we will move on to minutes of the mayor and council work session of June the 1st, 2026. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 3, mayor and council minutes of the June 1st, 2026 council meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 4, special called mayor and council work session minutes of June the 9th,
Motion.
2026.
Motion.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 5 under unfinished business, the second reading of ordinance 26-07 to amend chapter 30 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned cemeteries, to provide for an effective date, to provide for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide for severability, and for other purposes. Chad?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As discussed in our last meeting, this ordinance revision simply clarifies what would be permissible on grave sites, along with putting more emphasis on the West Hill Cemetery policies and procedures that will be handed out to those who are purchasing grave sites.
Questions or comments on this item? Questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 6, second reading ordinance 26-08 to hear the request of MCW Inc. to de-annex 0.3 acres located at 2209 Chattanooga, Dalton, Georgia. I believe it's Chattanooga Road. Dalton, Georgia, tax parcel 12-158-01-032 out of the city of Dalton into Whitfield County as general commercial C2 parcel 12-158-01-032.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. As you may recall, Ms. Garland presented all of the Planning Commission items from the May meeting back at our June 1st meeting for a first reading. So these are the second reading of all the May Planning Commission items. We very rarely have a de-annexation request, but the petitioner in this case, as Gene mentioned on the first, seeks to de-annex a 0.3 acre tract. It is contiguous with another 2 to 3 acres that the same petitioner owns near the intersection of Chattanooga Road and King Road. You will see on the screen, this site is currently used as a car lot or a shop. The building is already in the unincorporated county, so this is just a small portion of the parking lot. In the middle picture, you see the blue represents the city of Dalton annexed area. The white represents the unincorporated county. A question arose at the last meeting about whether or not this would create an island or the impacts related to an island. So for this meeting, I went into the annexation mapping and actually pulled a wider pan photo that shows you that this is not an island. The unincorporated county goes to the west, and there's no closed city annex area. The city property or the city annexed area that was referenced at the last meeting is much further south. So it will not create an island. The staff, the planning commissions, and the planning staff both recommended approval. And the petitioner is seeking to build an RV park on this property.
On the whole piece of property? Okay.
That's correct.
This used to be Miller Brothers before he moved over here.
Oh, really? Okay.
Used to be what?
Miller Brothers.
Okay.
All right, are there questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Item number 7, second reading ordinance 26-09 to hear the request of John S. Suttles to rezone from medium-density single-family residential R3 to rural residential R5 attractive land totaling 0.25 acres located on Dozier Street, Dalton, Georgia, parcel 12-217-07-006.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. As you may recall from the June 1st presentation, the petitioner in this case is seeking to construct one duplex on this tract. It's not suitable to do that in R3, so the request is being made to go to R5. If you look at the zoning map, there's not a lot of R5 shown on the screen, but the Planning Commission recommended approval and the staff recommendation was to approve. They cited that the requested rezoning would not change the character of the area based on the size of the subject property and the established multifamily zoning and the size of the subject property and limitations of the R5 zone district should mitigate any major impacts with development. So they cited a favorable recommendation to rezone to R5, as did the Planning Commission.
All right, questions or comments on this item? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion, a second. Any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 8, second reading ordinance 26-10 to hear the request of Debo's Diner Investments LLC to rezone from general commercial C2, conditional to general commercial C2, conditional conforming to Dalton Gateway Corridor Overlay District, a tract of land totaling 3.42 acres located at 525 and 527 South Tibbs Road, Dalton, Georgia, parcels 12-260-16-000 and 12-260-03-000.
So I think on this one, the staff has been asked to gather some additional information regarding some traffic engineering questions that have been that have come to light in the last couple of days. And so we're still working on that, Madam Mayor and Council. We're not prepared to present that this evening.
I'd like to make a motion to table this.
All right, I have a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second to table. Is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 9, second reading ordinance 26-11 to hear the request of Love Funeral Home to rezone from neighborhood commercial C1 to general commercial C2, a tract of land totaling 3.21 acres located at 1402 North Thornton Avenue, Dalton, Georgia, parcel 12-160-10-00-000.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. As you may recall from Ms. Garland's presentation, she referenced the adjacent hospital property was rezoned to C2, which is the dark red color, and Love Funeral Home is now seeking to do the same because they are planning to install a crematorium. Some questions came up at the last meeting about the distance from the property to any adjacent residential properties, and I think some of the council even took an opportunity to go out and look at the site. The property is about 300 feet from any residential property. In addition to that, staff reviewed some of the EPD regulations related to the operation of crematoriums, and there are some standards that they will have to follow, and if the EPD would be the governing authority to regulate that if there are any issues. And so the Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval, as did the staff gave a favorable recommendation to go to C2.
All right, questions or comments on this item? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Do we know how
Um,
big the crematorium actually is?
That I do not know.
I mean, and it's gonna be in the back, right?
I believe, from what I recall from Ms. Garland's presentation, there's an existing structure that runs along the eastern property line, and they were going to retrofit that building to put the crematorium inside that existing building.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 10, second reading ordinance 26-12 to amend Chapter 6 of the 2001 Revised Code of the City of Dalton, Georgia, captioned alcoholic beverages by striking, repealing, and deleting the definition of event center set forth in Section 6-1 and replacing it with a new definition of event facility by striking, repealing, and deleting the definition of restaurant in 6-1 and replacing it with a new definition by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection A of Section 6-10, caption possession in public places, and replacing it with a new subsection A by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection E of Section 6-110, captioned local caterer or concessionaire, preferred caterer, and concessionaire, by striking, repealing, and deleting Section 6-70, captioned eligibility for pouring license, and replacing it with a new Section 6-70, 7-0 by striking, repealing, and deleting section 6-107 captioned disqualification generally and replacing it with a new section 6-107 to amend chapter 26 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia captioned businesses by the addition of a new Article 11 captioned event facilities to provide for an effective date, to provide for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide for severability, and for other purposes.
I think, Madam Mayor, there were a lot of questions and comments when this was presented at the June 1st work session. And so we're still processing some of the questions and requested edits that various council members asked us to look into. So I would just ask if the council could table this particular ordinance this evening.
Motion to table.
I have a
Second.
motion to table, a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 11, second reading ordinance 26-13 to amend chapter 54 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned fire prevention and protection by deleting Article 2 captioned fire prevention code in its entirety by the addition of a new Article 2 to provide for an effective date, to provide for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide for severability, and for other purposes.
Madam Mayor and Council, this ordinance is also tied somewhat to the event center ordinance. Some of the definitions are the same. And so for that purpose, this one would also need to be tabled because it's somewhat relying upon the item that was just tabled as it relates to the definitions.
Motion to table.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second to table. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 12, second reading ordinance 26-14 to amend chapter 10 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned amusements and entertainments by deleting Article 1 captioned amusement machines and replacing it with a new Article 1 to provide for an effective date, to provide for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide for severability, and for other purposes. Jonathan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is the ordinance that we reviewed in our work session in detail. The updates are primarily to update the language to the current state code. There is also a license requirement, and there is a 6 machine limit per location that's included in this ordinance. That's the gist of the ordinance. I'm happy to take any questions.
If they already have more than 6, will they be grandfathered in or will they have to remove them?
They are, I believe there is a grandfathering provision in the ordinance.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke, council member. They would need to remove those machines.
Okay.
And was that
As-
limit on the number of machines a state regulation or state ordinance, or is that just ours?
That is a state allowance.
State allowance.
This is an ordinance that's, this area of the law is primarily is preempted by state code, the majority of it. And so you're allowed to do certain things that the state code allows you to do. And that's one of the things that got a judgment call, but you're allowed to limit up to 6.
Okay. All right, motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion. There's a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, under new business, item 13, resolution 26-17 to apply for and accept grant between the ARC and the city of Dalton for the South Thornton Corridor Improvements Project. Chad?
So this resolution is to apply for an ARC grant in the amount of $2 million. And if awarded, comes with a city match of 100% for a total of $2 million. Pending the final budget amount, the city funded portion will most likely exceed the $2 million required for the grant. If you'll recall, during my 2026 CIP presentation, funding for the project would not be required until probably Q2 of 2027. And this resolution be the same as the previous one made for the ARC grant, which will provide the city administrator the ability to execute documents necessary for the grant. This has been reviewed by the city attorney, and pursuit of the grant comes with a positive recommendation from the Public Works Committee. With that, I'll take any questions.
Are questions or comments on this item? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 14, Temple Bethel Memorial Park Contract Change Order number 001.
The requested change order in the amount of $67,200 is due to unforeseen conditions relative to the retaining wall construction on site. Given the unsuitable soils experienced on the site, the type of wall construction had to be changed. The facade and the visual elements of the wall will remain the same, but the way that it is constructed had to change. Due to this change, lead times associated are leading to a contract extension of 61 calendar days, which will put the contractual completion date at September 4th, 2026. And this has been presented to the Public Works Committee and comes with a positive recommendation as well.
Questions or comments on this item? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 15.
Mayor, I thought we might want to do the announcements before we, okay.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. As you will see on the agenda, after an executive session is listed that as item number 15, announcements. When we return from executive session, there will be no voting. We will not take up any other business. There's no supplemental business before this body. So we'll go ahead and read this announcement now. So we would return from our executive session and entertain a motion to adjourn. Item number 16 for announcements, city government offices will be closed Friday, July 3rd, 2026 in observance of Independence Day. The city council will not hold a meeting on Monday, July 6, 2026. The next mayor and council meeting will be held Monday, June 22nd, 2026. So that will actually be next Monday. So we will have a meeting then. So item number 15, executive session for the purpose of personnel. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Sweet.